Okay, so I think we are live, working and ready to go. So I'm going to give everyone a couple more minutes just to join if we have anyone joining. Otherwise, we will make a start in a minute. Okay, so I make it a minute after 10. So we will make a start. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Hopefully everybody can see me. We are streaming this via YouTube today. So, I can see a couple of you having problems. We'll give it another 30 seconds and then we will start. Okay, so we're going to make a start this morning. So a couple of minutes later starting. So we'll probably finish a couple of minutes later as well. So good morning if you are joining us. For those of you that don't know me, hello, my name is Sophie. I am a maths tutor here at Tutor in a Box, and today I'm going to be your tutor. So a little bit about me if you don't already know. I absolutely love chocolate. I think it's the best thing ever. And I don't like spiders. They're a little bit creepy crawly, a little bit. So that's a little bit about me. I'd like to know a little bit about you. So in the chat, please let me know. What's your favorite food? So what's your favorite food? So pop it in the chat. Let me know. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food? What do we think? Good. Yeah. Pizza. Yeah. Chocolate, sweets, spaghetti bolognese. Good. Yeah. So good. Lots of different bits there. Like I said, my favorite food's got to be chocolate. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of a warm up as always. Today we're doing about area. And so we're going to be going through all about area. So we'll begin with a little bit of a times table. So 3 times 3. So have a go at working this out. You can pop your answers in the chat. If you're doing it at home, you can write it down, completely up to you. So 3 lots of 3. 3 lots of 3. Good. Very good. Yep. 9. Very good. 5 lots of 3. So 5 lots of 3. So 5 times 3 or 3 times 5. Good. 15. Very good. Well done. 15. And the final one, 7 times 7, or as I sometimes tell my students, 7 squared. Good. Yeah. 7 squared. So 7 times 7 is indeed 49. And remember, when we square something, we just times it by itself. And so 7 times 7 is 7 squared, or 49. Good. Okay. So for those of you that are wondering what we're doing today, this is what we're doing. So we are doing all about area. Okay. So this is year 5 and 6. So school years, year 5 and 6, so upper key stage 2. And we are looking at the area, how to work it out, including using centimeters squared, meters squared, and different shapes, so squares, rectangles, maybe shapes that aren't either initially. We have to break them down. We're also then time dependent going to look at parallelograms and triangles, and then we're going to touch hopefully on different perimeters and how area and perimeter link or don't link, and vice versa. So this is the curriculum. This is what we're covering today. So a little bit of a recap for those of you that don't know. Area is the inside bit. So area is the amount of amount of space a shape takes up. So it's the amount of inside space. And we can count it or work it out by either adding up the number of squares. So if we do have squares there, then we can just count up the squares. Or if it's a square or a rectangle, we can work it out by multiplying length times width. Okay. So if it's a square or rectangle, we can multiply it by doing length times width. If it's not a square or rectangle, and we'll look at this later, if it's not a square or rectangle, there's a couple of things we can do. And part of that is breaking that down. Okay, so we can break it down into squares or rectangles to help us. So I said it was going to be an interactive session, and it is. So first things first, I want you to have a go at working out the area of these shapes. Okay, so have a go at working out the area of these shapes for me. So there's 4 shapes. They're all fairly nice shapes, squares or rectangles. So have a go at working out the area of these shapes, okay? So working out the area of these shapes. And as always, pop your answers in the chat. You can write them down, depending where you're doing this. Good. Lots of really, really good bits coming in. Lots of really, really good bits coming in. Keep them going. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds. Good. Very good. Okay. So the answer to number 1, if we were to count the squares, we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So the answer to that was 20. Or if we were timesing our height times our length, we could do 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times by 4 rows. So 5 times 4 gave us 20. Number 2 was 12. Again, we had 3 along and 4 down, or we could have counted up all the individual squares. Number 3, we had 6 along and 3 down. So the area of number 3 was 18 centimeters squared. And finally, number 4, the one at the bottom, we had 7 going along and 4 down. So the answer there was 28 centimeters squared. Okay, so if you've got any of them, very, very well done. So we could have worked all of them out by adding and counting the number of squares inside, or we could have done the length times the height. All right. It's a nice little, hopefully, warm up for you guys that hopefully you're familiar with. Have a go at these for me. So these are your next 4 questions. Okay, so these are the next 4 questions I want you to have a go at. Here, there are no squares. So what are we going to do? We can't count up the squares because there are no squares. So we have to times it. So we're going to do the length times the height. Okay, so have a go at doing these for me. So have a go at timesing these for me. Yeah, good. Yep. So lots and lots of good answers coming in. Fabulous. So pop your answers or continue to pop your answers either in the chat or if you're writing them down at home, anything like that's fine. You'll notice that there are different units. So number 1, we're using centimeters. Number 2, we're using foot. Number 3, we're using meters. And number 4, we're using inches. That's absolutely fine. It's the same process each time, but our units at the end are going to be different. Good. So a couple more minutes on this for me. Lots of good bits here. A couple more minutes. Good. Yeah. Lots and lots of good bits coming in. So if you're stuck or struggling, I'll give you a clue for number 1. So number 2, we were doing 8 centimeters times 3 centimeters. So 8 centimeters times 3 centimeters gives us 8, 16, 24. So the answer to number 1 is 24 centimeters squared. Okay, so very well done if you got that. Remember, area is the amount of space inside a shape. Okay, so number 1 was 24 centimeters squared. I'm going to give you another minute or so to have a go at some of the other ones. Good, very good. Okay, so number 2, that was 35 feet squared. So that was 7 times 5. Number 3, that was 9 meters squared. We were doing 3 times 3. And then number 4 was 40 inches squared. And that was 10 inches by 4 inches. So remember, when we're doing a rectangle or a square, we can either count them up, as we did previously here. You can see we counted them up. Or if we don't have squares inside, we can times the length by the width. Okay, let's do a couple more of these. So let's do a couple more of these. So have a go at these. Have a go at these for me. So again, there's no squares inside. So we've got to have a go at timesing them. Okay, so we've got to have a go at timesing them. So for example, for number 1, we would do 12 times 8. Okay, sorry, it's 12 times 18. So have a go at these. You might only just get the chance to do 1. That's absolutely fine. You might whiz through all of them. That's absolutely fine. Everybody's working at different paces. That's not a problem at all. So just go through at your own pace, and we'll go through the answers in a minute. Good. Yeah. Good. Yeah, good. Lots and lots of good answers coming in. So 6 questions on the board. So 6 questions on the board here. So have a go at calculating the area. You can have a go at working out the area of one of them. You can have a go at working out the area of all of them. We're just going to spend a couple of minutes on this. So go at your own pace. There's no rush. Remember to do the area of a shape. So the area of a shape, we do the length times by the width if it's a square or a rectangle. Okay. And when we're working out the area, we work out the amount of space inside the shape. Okay. So a couple more minutes on that. I'm just going to grab my glass of water. All this talking's thirsty work. Good. So if you are stuck or confused or not too sure about this one, number one, we were doing 12 times 18, which gave us 216 centimeters squared. Very good, very good. Number two, that was 21 centimeters times 65 centimeters. That gave us 1,365 centimeters squared. Very good, very good. Lots of good answers coming in for this. Let's give you a couple more minutes to do the rest of them. As always, if you are stuck or confused or have any questions, please do let us know. Otherwise, have a go at working out number 3, number 4, number 5, and or number 6. Good, lots of good bits coming in, lots of good bits coming in. This is great. So some of you might have done area before, some of you might not have. That's absolutely fine. Remember, area is the amount of space inside the shape, okay? Good, very good, well done. So a couple more answers coming in, good. So if you did number 3, we were doing 30 centimeters times 71 centimeters. That gave us 2,130 centimeters squared as our area. Number 4, that was 33 centimeters times 10 centimeters, which gave us 330 centimeters squared. Number 5, I thought this was quite a hard one. That was 21 centimeters times 54 centimeters, which was 1,134 centimeters squared. And finally, number 6, this was the last one at the bottom here. We were doing 32 times 63, which gave us 2,016 centimeters squared. Okay, so very, very well done if you got any of them. Remember, some of you might have got all of them, some of you might not have got any of them. That's absolutely fine. Work at your own pace and go at your own speed. So what happens if we haven't got a rectangle? What happens if we haven't got a rectangle? So how would I work out the answer or the area for this? Any ideas? Pop it in the chat, pop it in the comments, let me know. So what would I do if it's not a rectangle? It's a bit of an odd shape. Good. Yep, perfect. Good. Really, really good. So if an area is not a rectangle, we have to break it down and we have to make it into squares or rectangles that we can then work with. Absolutely, absolutely. So task for you guys at home, I want everybody to get a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to draw this shape down, and then I want you to break it up into squares or rectangles for me, okay? So where can you draw lines on it that make it into a square or a rectangle, okay? So where can you draw lines on it that make it into squares or rectangles for me, okay? So have a go at that. There's more than one answer for this, so there are multiple right answers for this. So have a go, see if you can get an answer for this. So how can you break it down, or how can we break it down into squares or rectangles? So have a go at drawing the shape and then seeing if you can get a ruler and a pencil or a pen or whatever you use and start splitting them out into squares or rectangles we can work with. Good. Good. So there were a couple of different answers coming in for that. So that's good. And so you can see here, these are just 3 of the different examples and the different ways we could split it up. So you can see this first one, and we split it up by drawing vertical lines. So we've just added in a vertical line here and a vertical line here. You can see in our shape number 2, we've added in horizontal lines. So we've added a line along here and a line along here. And then for the one at the bottom, we've done a bit of both. So we've got the line here and the line here. So we've got both vertical and horizontal lines. So there's more than one right way of splitting it up. Any of these were absolutely fine. And then for each of those shapes, you would then work out the area of them and add them all together. Okay, so you work out the separate areas and then you work it out together. So for example, let's look at this shape. So you can see here on the left-hand side, we've got a kind of minty green L shape, okay? So we've got a minty green L shape. Now, this isn't a square or a rectangle. So at the moment, we couldn't work out the area. However, we can split it into shapes or rectangles, squares or rectangles that we then can work with, okay? So you can see on the left-hand side, we've got this mint green L, and then you can see on the right, we've got 2 different ways of splitting it. Either way, you'll get the same answer, okay? So for the first one, we've split it into a green and an orange part, okay? So you can see we split it into a green part and an orange part. And then for each of that green part and the orange part, we can then work out the area. Or if we look down here, we could use the blue and the yellow part, and we can split again into 2 different rectangles, and then we'd work out the area of the blue one and the area of the yellow one, okay? And so then that's going to give us the area. So for example, if we did this top one, looking at the green bit, to get the area of the green bit, you'd do 12 times 3. So that gives you 36 centimeters squared. You'd then work out the area of the bottom bit, which is 7 times 4, which gives you 28 centimeters squared. We'd then add our 36 centimeters squared and 28 centimeters squared together to give us our answer. Okay, it's exactly the same thing if I did it using the blue. Okay, I would do 8 times 3 to give me 24 centimeters squared, and then I would do 10 times 4, which is 40 centimeters squared. That would give us the yellow bit. And then I'd add them together. And again, that gives me 64 centimeters squared, which is the area of the whole shape, the area of the L. Okay, so we're going to have a go at doing a couple of these. But first, remember, you can also count the squares. So if you're given a shape that has squares, you can still count them. So for example, you can see on number 1 here, number 1 and number 2, have a go at working out the area of these 2 shapes for me, okay? So have a go at working out the area of these 2 shapes for me, please. So have a go at working out the area of these for me. Good, very good, very good. So number 1, this was 9 centimeters squared, and number 2 was 7 centimeters squared. So number 1, we could also, we could just count them up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that gives us our 9 centimeters squared. Or we could do it by separating into 2 different shapes. So we could do this rectangle and then this rectangle. So if we did all of this bit, that was 6, remember? And then if we do the area of this bit, that was 3. And then the 3 plus 6 gives us 9. Alternatively, we could have split it up and done these 3 bits first, and then the area of this bit. And the area of this bit was 6. And so the area of 6 plus 3 is 9. So that's how we get our 9 centimeters squared. And exactly the same with number 2 to get 7 centimeters squared. You could have broken it down into a square here with 4 and then added the bits on, or you could break it down into 3 different rectangles. So up to you, completely up to you how you did it. Okay, let's have a go at this one then. So let's have a go at these. So I've got 2 different shapes here. So I've got 2 different shapes here. And these are a little bit different. They are not the same as they were last time. Obviously, we've now got a shape we need to break up. Okay, so we've now got a shape we need to break up. So have a go at doing these for me. So you can either break them up by putting a line along here for number one, or you can break it up by putting a line along here. Either one is absolutely fine. So either one is absolutely fine. And so have a go at that for me. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to have a go at that. So as always, I'm going to go through these in a minute. So if you've got any questions or queries, do let me know. Otherwise, I will go through it all in a minute. But remember, have a go at breaking it down. So we can either break it down along here, or we can break it down along here. Okay. Oh, I don't think my mouse was showing for this. So we can break it down along here. I'm hoping you can now see my mouse. We can break it down along here, or we can break it down along here. Okay, a couple more minutes for that. Cool. Okay, so we've got a couple of queries about this. So let me, I'm going to actually go through these in a bit more detail than I was planning to. So bear with me a second. Okay, so you're seeing me nice and big. So just bear with me. You'll see the whiteboard coming up in a second. So that's fine. Okay, so what hopefully you can see now, assuming all technology is working, is the two pictures, but they're now on a whiteboard rather than on the actual screen. So we're going to have a little bit more of play. So there were two ways of breaking this down, okay, and I'm going to break it down both ways. So we could have either drawn the line across here and had a shape here, and then the shape here. Okay, that was one way of doing it. Or the other way of doing it, if I scroll down, was same shape here. The other way was to do it down here. Down here, when technology works. And then you'd have your one bit here, and then let's say your second bit here. Okay, so we're looking at shape number one here, but you can see there's two different ways of breaking it down. So there's two different ways of breaking it down, and we could break it down either way. So either way would be fine. Now, if we were doing the top bit, so that's the orange bit. So let me do that. Go back to this one. This here is 2 centimeters. This bit here is also 2 centimeters, because if we notice, this whole thing is 5 centimeters, and this thing is 3 centimeters. So if this bit is 3 centimeters, that's got to be 2 centimeters. And so we're going to be doing 2 times 2 centimeters. So that bit in the middle here is going to be 4 centimeters squared. Okay, so that's going to be our area of the middle shape. I'm going to get rid of these bits now, just so they don't confuse anybody. So now we're going to have a look at the yellow bit. Okay, this is the bit in the middle. Okay, so here we're going to do the whole length times by 3, okay? And the whole length is going to be 2 centimeters, which is this bit, plus 4 centimeters, which is this bit. So we're going to get 6 centimeters times, oh, I've left out my C, 6 centimeters times 3 centimeters, which gives us 18 centimeters squared, okay? We're then going to do 18 centimeters squared plus our 4 centimeters squared. So 18 centimeters squared plus 4 centimeters squared, which gives us our answer of 22 centimeters squared. Okay, So hopefully that makes sense. And if I was going to do it the other way, so this might have been the other way you've done it at home, where I did, if I get my grey up, where I broke it down this way, I've got, it's got a bit screwy. I've got 5 centimeters down, 2 centimeters along. So the area for this bit was 5 times 2, which is 10 centimeters squared. And then the area for the purple bit was 4 centimeters times 3 centimeters, which gives us 12 centimeters squared. And together, that gives us 22 centimeters squared. Yeah, so it didn't matter which way you broke it down. You could have done it like we did at the top using orange and yellow, or you could have done it at the bottom using grey and purple like we did. Okay, it doesn't matter which way. The answer you get is the same either way. Okay, so you get to 22 centimeters squared. Okay, so let's have a go at doing number 2. So let's have a go at doing number 2. So again, I'm going to break this down in 2 different ways because there's more than one way of doing it. So we're going to break it down into both ways. So the first way we could have done it, I'm going to do this in blue. We could have broken it down, get this right, this. And these are supposed to be straight lines, admittedly a bit wonky straight lines. But if I had a ruler, then I would be using a ruler. There you go, that's my straight line. And then I've got an area here and an area, let's go green, an area here. So that was my one way of doing it. If I was doing it that way, to work out the area of this big shape, I would do 5 times 6. That would give me 30 centimeters squared. So that middle bit would be 30 centimeters squared. And then this little bit here, this was 3 centimeters up. And the long bit was 2 centimeters because the 8 centimeters is the whole bit along. But remember, up to here was 6 centimeters, okay, because we got that on the bottom. So 3 times 2 is 6 centimeters squared. So 30 plus 6 is 36 centimeters squared. So our answer for number 2 is 36 centimeters squared. Okay, if you did it the other way, you could have popped your line along. Let's go for purple this time. Oops, let's go for a different one we haven't used. Let's go along here. Don't know if you can just about see this. So you might have, for example, this bit, and then you might have this bit. Okay. To do the pink bit first, again, you do length times width, so 5 centimeters times 8 centimeters. Okay. So 5 centimeters times 8 centimeters, and we'd pop that down, and then we would add our 8 by 5, 8 by 3. So we do 8 centimeters by 3 centimeters. 8 by 5 would give us the whole bit, which we don't want. So we do 8 by 3. That gives us 24 centimeters squared. My writing is getting bigger and bigger. And then we would do the area of this bit, which is 6 centimeters times the height, which is 2 centimeters. So 6 centimeters times 2 centimeters is 12 centimeters squared. So then we would do 24 plus 12, which gives us 36 centimeters squared. Okay, so it doesn't matter which way you're breaking it down in terms of the shapes. So you can see it doesn't matter which way you're breaking down the shapes. We get the same answer either way. Okay, so to go back to the screen here, you can see that the area is exactly what we got: 22 centimeters squared for the first one and 36 centimeters squared for the second one. And can you just give me a raised hand if that makes sense? Raised hand. Good. Okay, perfect. Cool. So that's fine. So now we're going to look at shapes and areas that are not squares or rectangles. Oh, we're going to look in particular at area of triangles. Okay, so area of triangles. Okay, and the really neat thing about triangles is they make squares. Okay, so what I want you all to do, I want you to get a piece of paper that's square. Okay, so I want you to get or cut out a piece of paper. So you want a square. So if you've got post-it notes at home, these are great. So if mum, dad, parent, carer, guardian, whoever has a post-it note, get a post-it note. They generally come in squares, which is nice. That's what we want. Otherwise, if you've got a piece of paper, maybe cut it into a square. So you've got to have a square for this, okay? And if you cut, so you've got a square, and you may need supervision for this, but if you get some scissors, if you cut diagonally through it, you will notice you have 2 triangles. Amazing. Look at that. So we had our square, and when we cut it in half, we've got 2 triangles. Yeah, they're both triangles. And if you notice, when we put those triangles together, we get a square. Yes, when we put them together, we get a square. But when we take them apart, we've got 2 triangles. So if I want to find the area of one triangle, all I do is work out the area of a square and then divide it by 2 and halve it. And we get the area of a triangle. Okay, and so the area of a triangle is half the area of a square or a rectangle. We sometimes write this as base times height divided by 2. Okay, so we sometimes write this as base times height divided by 2 when we just go base times height and then obviously split it into 2. Okay, and you can see here on the board, if we were to colour in a second triangle, that you would get exactly the same thing. Okay, so if you were to colour in a second triangle, you would get exactly the same thing, and it will become a square. So this means we can use this to help us work out the answers. And this is true for all right angle triangles. So we used a square previously because a square was a nice shape to work with. But if you do it with a rectangle, it also works. So if you get a rectangle and again cut it along the middle diagonally, it also works. And you can see here on the board the yellow triangle we've got here, that makes a rectangle. And so this is useful to help us work out the area, because we can work out the area of the yellow triangle by working out the area of the whole rectangle and then halving it. So for example, here we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're counting the squares here, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So if the area of the whole square is 18 centimetres, we're going to halve that to get the area of the triangle, which is going to give us 9 centimetres squared. So the area of the triangle there is going to be 9 centimetres squared. Similarly, going back to this one, we could count the squares. We could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then we could halve it to get the area of the triangle. Half of 16 is, yeah, very good, 8. So the area of this blue triangle would be 8 centimetres squared. Good. Okay, have a go at these. 4 questions on the board. These are a little bit of a challenge. So have a go at these. And remember to work out the area of them. We're working out the area of the square, then we're working out the area of the triangle. So draw an imaginary square around each one. So you could draw dotted lines around each one. That gives us the area of the whole square. Then we halve it, okay? Good, lots of good answers coming in. Yeah, keep them coming. Good. Yeah, very good. Well done. Yeah, keep going. Good. So as always, if you are stuck or struggling or confused, please do let me know. Remember to work out the area of the triangle. We're going to work out the area of the square, okay? So remember, these triangles are just half the area of a rectangle or half the area of a square. So we're going to work out the area of the whole square or the whole rectangle first. And remember, we can work that out by doing the length times the height and dividing it by 2. Okay, so that's your clue if you need it. We'll go through all the answers in a minute. Good. So I'm going to give you a clue on the first one. So I've had lots of right answers coming in. So we're doing 8 times 4. So 8, 16, 24, 32. That would give us the area of the whole rectangle. Then we're going to do 32 divided by 2 or halved to give us the area of the triangle, which is 16 centimeters squared. So well done if you got that. If you didn't, don't worry. Remember, everyone's at their own paces. Everybody's learning at a slightly different speed. Some of you might have done this before. Some of you might not have. That's not a problem at all. So take your time with it. So if you haven't yet had a go at number 2, number 3, or number 4, have a go at that. And then a couple more minutes, then we'll go through them. So remember, the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So we're going to work out the area of the whole rectangle or square first. Then we're going to halve it, okay? So, for example, for number 2, we're going to do 6 times 8. So we're going to do 6 times 8, which is 48. And then we're going to divide it by 2 to give us 24 centimeters squared. So for number 2, the area would be 24 centimeters squared. Number 3, hopefully a fairly straightforward one, 10 times 8 and then divide it by 2. So that gave us an area of 40 centimeters squared. And number 4, finally, that gave us an area of 50 meters squared. Okay, so I'm going to pop the answers up on the board now. So if you need them, they're there. So remember to do the area of a triangle, length times height divided by 2. Because remember, a triangle is half a square or a rectangle, okay? So when we put them together, we get our square. But when we take them apart, we've got our 2 rectangles, okay? All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is parallelograms, okay? And what parallelograms are and what they do. So hopefully, well, actually, what is a parallelogram? Yeah, one of you said it's on the board. Yeah. So a parallelogram is a quadrilateral. So maybe I should change the question. What is a quadrilateral? Yeah, very good, very good. So quadrilateral is a 4-sided shape. Very good, very good. So a parallelogram is just a 4-sided shape where the opposite sides are parallel. Remember, if something's parallel, it's like train tracks. They don't meet. So they never meet. They keep going on and on and on, and they're always the same distance apart, okay? So it's not like this or even like this. Parallel lines are like that. The lines go up and down or along, but they never ever meet. They're always the same distance apart, okay? And here's something quite clever, I think, and quite neat. We use the same formula for squares and rectangles that we do for parallelograms. Huh. Let me say that again. So we use the same formula for squares and rectangles to work out parallelograms. And the way we do this is base times perpendicular height. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, how does that work? So let me remind you what a parallelogram looks like. So parallelogram, can't say it, looks a little bit like this. Now, what happens, you can see there's a grey dotted bit there. What happens if we were to cut out that grey dotted bit and pop it onto the other end? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think about that. So what happens if we were to cut out the grey dotted bit and pop it on the other side? So move it from here to here. Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, absolutely. So if we were, and you can try this at home. So if you've got a parallelogram like this, have a go at it. You can try it at home. We've got all these resources you can download and print, or our resources, some of them you get through the post as well. So absolutely, we've got all these resources that you can use at home. And this is one of them. So you can cut it along the dotted line here, and then pop it here, and you'll see it becomes a rectangle. Magic. So then we just do exactly the same thing as we just did previously. We just do base times perpendicular height. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, so just as a little bit of a recap then today, so we touched on area. Okay, so today we've done all about area, and remember, area is the amount of space a shape takes up. Okay, so area is the amount of space a shape takes up. We can either work it out by adding up the squares. So if we've got something that looks like this, we can add up the squares to give us the area, or we can work it out by doing the length times the width. Okay, so we can do the length times the height, for example. If it's not a square or rectangle, then we can break it down into 2 or 3 different shapes and make it rectangles or squares. So for example, if it's a shape that looks like this, we could break it down into shapes that look like this, and then we could work out the area of each shape individually and then add them all together. We then said the area of a triangle was half the area of a square or rectangle. So we said we could do this by doing our base times height divided by 2. So to get the area of a triangle, we just worked out the area of the square, and then we divided it by 2, put it in half. And we said to work out the area of parallelograms, that's the same as working out the area of a square or rectangle, because the shape is the same. We can cut out that end bit and pop it back on. Okay, so now it's your turn. So I want you guys to draw a shape for me, okay? So grab a piece of paper, grab a pen. I want you to draw a shape for me, and I want you to work out the area, okay? So it could be a square, it could be a rectangle, it could be a triangle, it could be a parallelogram, it could be maybe an L shape. So have a go at drawing a shape for me. So have a go at drawing a shape and working out the area for me. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do this. So grab a pen, grab a ruler, and work out the area of a shape. So draw a shape for me, and then have a go at working out the area for me. So a couple of minutes to do that. So as always, if you are stuck, confused, not sure, please do let me know. But the task here is to draw a shape. So any shape you like: square, rectangle, L shape, triangle, parallelogram, and work out the area. Okay, so draw a shape and work out the area of it. And while you're doing it, I'm going to have a go. So I am going to draw a shape. So this is going to be my shape. Actually, let's So I've drawn a shape. So if you are struggling what shape to draw, you can draw a shape similar to mine. I've just drawn a rectangle, but you could have drawn a triangle, parallelogram, a square, and we were working out the area for it. So remember, area is length times height, or length times width. So here, 7 times 2, which gives us 14 centimeters squared. Okay, and what we could have also done is breaking this down into our individual squares. So like that. So you can see here, this is just my example that I've drawn. And it shows the area as being 14 centimeters squared. So I could have counted them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 centimeters square, or I could have done 7 times 2. Okay, so that was just a little bit fun at the end. Okay, so we're almost at the end of the lesson. How's that? So as always, in the chat for me, please, what you've learned and what you are proud of. Both of those are, of course, in the lesson with me today. So what you've learned and what you're proud of. I think this is a really nice activity to end on, and it's really important because it's really important to reflect on your hard work and how hard and how well you've done over the last hour. You have worked really hard. You've given it a go, whether it was easy or not. You've given it a try, and that's the most important thing when we're learning. So that's really good. So what you've learned and what you're proud of. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Good. Yeah. Good. Very good. Yeah. So good. Yeah. Yep. Perfect. Good. So proud of working hard. Very good. Proud of trying my best. Good. Proud of getting lots of questions right. Very good. I learned about irregular shapes. Good. I learned about the area of the triangle. Good. Area of rectangles. Good. Very good. Area of parallelograms. Good. Very good. So lots and lots of really good things there. So very, very well done. You've worked really, really hard. So do give yourself a pat on the back. We're back here again tomorrow. So as always, any questions, comments or queries, please do let us know. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been Sophie from Tutor in a Box.